In this video, we're going to install Docker for Mac. First, we will go to Google and look for Docker for Mac, Docker Desktop for Mac. And the second link is from Docker Hub. That's the link we're going to click. To download Docker Desktop for Mac, you actually need to have a Docker Hub account. So if you don't have a Docker Hub account, you should create an account at hub.docker.com. Once you have created an account, you can then download Docker Desktop for Mac. So I'm going to click Get Docker and just going to download in the regular download location. And this is a pretty big download, about 500 megabytes. So you want to be in a place with a good internet connection. So I'm going to finish downloading in about 10 or 12 seconds. So I'm going to wait till that finishes. Once the download completes, then I can go to my downloads folder and double click the DMG file. This will install Docker. It's going to start the installation process of Docker into our Mac. Once the disk image is mounted, then we were asked to then drag and drop the Docker icon into our applications. So we'll do that. This will basically just copy the Docker application into our applications folder. Once that's done, we can then start the Docker application. The first time we're installing Docker, the installation of Docker into our system can take some time. It's going to ask us, are we sure we want to open it? This file is downloaded from the internet. We are sure, so we're going to say open. And so Docker Desktop is going to start. And since Docker directly accesses the host OS, it needs privileged access. So at this moment, you need to put the password of your account, and that account has to be a root account in the particular machine. So the first time Docker runs, it does take some time for Docker to set up everything in the background. So you're going to see this icon in the top, kind of animating. And if you click on the icon, you're going to see Docker Desktop is starting, and this particular button is going to stay yellow. Once the Docker installation finishes, this is going to actually turn green, and that's when you know you're ready to use Docker. So we're going to give it a few seconds, and I'm going to speed up until the Docker starts. Actually, Docker already has started in our machine. I didn't even have to speed up. Depending on the power of your machine, it can take some time sometimes. So give it a couple of minutes if it doesn't turn green automatically. So next, we're going to test that Docker has successfully installed. I'm going to go to a terminal, and then I can look if Docker was installed. So I can do which Docker, and Docker was installed as it looks like, and I'm going to check the Docker version. So it installed Docker 18.09.2. Also, I can see Docker machine. It installed Docker machine version 0.16.1. Also, I can see Docker Compose version. When you install Docker, Docker Compose comes pre-built. So it has installed Docker Compose as well. We can take a quick look as Docker finished installing. So in the preference, we can see that, there's some pre-setup that is already selected. Things like start Docker Desktop when you log in, check for updates automatically. So these are pretty good settings to keep enabled. So you're going to keep them enabled. And there are some other setups that you might need to do depending on what you're trying to do. For now, we're going to just keep with the default and see if Docker works for us as is. If not, we can tweak some settings here. But right now, we're going to just keep it as is. If your installation doesn't look like this, please drop a comment. I can come back and update this video. If there's a new update, you should see the update somewhere in the video as a new video that you can click and see the new download. Other than that, even if your laptop version or the Docker version is a little different, it should still be okay. Docker usually keeps their installation process pretty similar. So next, we're going to look installing Docker for Linux and then Windows. So you can just skip the next two videos if you are using just the MacOS.